Whenever we think of a contented life, the words like alliance, bond, and relationships probably comes to the mind. In this world, everything is very duological in nature. Nothing actually exists in solidarity. So terms like euphoria and misery, hope and despair, excitement and boredom, or security and timidness actually exist at the same time. There are no other words in dictionary that more of us are connected to than love and relationships. Isn't it intriguing that we are never explicitly taught how to develop and revere our relationships and bonds? We are in constant process of building, rebuilding, and rebuilding the relationships with expectations that we'll figure it out. But the truth is, all lies in the subtleties of life. Almost all of us are always at the receiving end of an unhealthy connection, and almost all of us are always at the giving end of the unhealthy connections to others. Like I said, everything is duological, it exists in the bank opposite pairs. Today, we have with us someone who has actually figured it out. Charu Srivastava, an entrepreneur, a business consultant, a marital alliance mentor. Hello, ma'am. Welcome to the podcast with Popp Dapp.
Actually, it's a wonderful moment being with you right now. I'm really enjoying our conversation as it has started. So, I'm Charu Srivastava. If I look back in retrospect, I was a very sensitive child and a responsible child right from the beginning since I was the eldest
Okay.
child in the family. And the way I was raised, I always believe that there is no gender bias in the world. It's something which existed in the past. So I got a lot of equal opportunities to decide on small things
Okay.
pertaining to my life. And I also took charge of small things at home and outside right from a very tender age. So this inculcated a lot of independence in me,
Okay.
and I chose my own life partner.
Wow.
And then I started my own venture, which was into education for another 20 years. From 1994 to 2014, I was running several centers for IIMs, IIM preparation. So, my journey started very early as an entrepreneur.
Oh,
And that to first generation entrepreneur from the age of 22. So most of my students were 3-4 years older to me.
Oh, wow.
And I formulated a team, and whatever success I got in my first venture was primarily because I had a wonderful team with me.
Right.
Of mentors and teachers. So I never compromised on the quality when it came to, building up a team. And I think leadership qualities were there in me because I was very independent.
Okay.
And I right from the beginning, I never thought cliche or having gender biases in my mind that, oh, I'm a woman so I should not do this or
Right.
that. So way back, I'm talking some 30 years ago, I started my own entrepreneurial journey, and that time in Lucknow there were not many women entrepreneurs.
Right.
And especially the first generation. So I was very happy, and then in 2014 I took a break from what I was doing in respect to education sector. So, one thing I would like to add over here,
Yes.
that I was always very passionate about helping people get connected.
Oh, wow.
And in the process, I was helping people getting married right from the age when I was 23, 24
Oh my
myself.
God.
And I was helping people double my age to find partners.
Oh God.
So, this is something which I was always very passionate about.
So did people open up to you very
Oh,
easily?
that was something phenomenal.
Okay.
And that is the reason why I got into education sector also.
Okay.
Because I felt that even people who are quite elderly, were much older to me, they confided a lot in me, and they always
Okay.
came up to seek advice.
So when you retrospect now, what do you think was your main characteristic where people confided in you? Like people elder to you, they look up to you to seek relationship advices. Like what do you think was the quality that you had?
I had two things in me.
Okay.
One, that I was very honest about my opinions,
Okay.
and I was very sincere to my relationships.
Okay.
So that sincerity gave a lot of trust.
Okay.
So people trusted me, that is the first thing. And secondly, I used to try to be in shoes of the other people.
Okay.
So I would say visualization was good and maturity level was good, because I was taking larger responsibilities and small responsibilities right from a very tender age. Maybe if I look back, right from the age of 8, 9, and so I had mentally, I think I was slightly more mature than.
And what were those responsibilities like at the age of 8 and 9? What were the major decisions you took at that time?
One I remember very categorically. My
Yeah.
father, when I was 7, we were supposed to buy a house.
Okay.
Huh? And my father brought me to this locality where I live now.
Okay.
And he said, "Do you think this place is going to be good in times to come for our
Amazing.
own house? Because this place is little isolated and off the city.
Okay.
So, do you think we should have a house over here?" And we were living in old Lucknow at that point of time.
Okay.
And this was developing, and it was absolutely a new area.
Right.
And there were thugs, and the areas were not very safe.
Yeah.
And a lot of open areas and unconstructed areas. So my father asked me, do you think it is the right thing to do?
Yeah.
And I don't know whether I gave a right answer or wrong answer, but he made me think. If I made a mistake, my father always asked me to analyze.
Okay.
That could my action be something different than what I have done?
Oh.
And what would have been the consequences if I would have done it differently?
Okay.
So he used to make me think ahead.
Right.
I think that is an attribute which was developed and inculcated by me from that age, which helped me become more mature and more responsible in life.
That's amazing. So, ma'am, as an 8-year-old, you took a decision which was very unconventional at that point of time.
Yeah.
So, what has been your recent most unconventional decision that you have taken at this age?
See, when I wanted to start up this matrimonial company,
Okay.
right, lot of people told me that you are just making a wrong choice.
Did they?
Yes.
Okay.
I was highly discouraged to get into this. They said this is not going to be a career for you, and this is, something which people, a lot of dishonesty is there, and matchmaking. You have a lot of brunt of people if the marriage goes wrong.
Right.
And relationships goes wrong. People are going to blame you. It's a very messy thing to be in.
Yeah.
So, people told me just not to get into it.
Okay.
And they said nobody's going to pay you for it. People want free services.
Right.
And, people were absolutely unsure that this is a good profession to be in.
Okay.
So, but despite all the, I would say, discouragement, I developed my own processes and, methodology. It took me a couple of years to do that. And I researched over it.
Okay.
And inside me, I had a burning desire to do it.
Oh.
And I was damn sure that I'm on the right path.
Okay.
And just in case I'm not on the right path, time will prove it.
Of course. Yes.
So I took this plunge despite everybody telling me not to.
That's amazing. So, ma'am, since we are talking about this, could you tell us a little more about what this company is all about, what this startup is all about, what's the services that you're providing? Just a little bit about that so that we have a perspective for the future.
Okay. So I'll first of all talk about what this industry was already offering.
Perfect. Yeah.
So I did a need analysis basically.
Okay.
So what I saw that all the companies which are existing are giving very quick fix kind of solutions.
Right.
Which are not actually good for a long-term relationship.
And what could be those quick fixes?
Like giving biodata without any verification.
Right. Absolutely right.
So randomly sharing profiles.
Yes.
Without getting a real understanding of people.
Okay.
And their backgrounds.
Okay.
So that was one, area.
Like verified profiles.
verified profiles, and more than verification, it is very important that you understand a person holistically before connecting two people together, because it's not so mechanical kind of an exercise. It is the vibe and the divine connection between two souls to make a couple.
Of course.
So it's a very pious thing to do. It's a very sensitive thing to do. So unless you don't understand two people, you connect two people like two biodatas, and you just profile and you match them on the basis of height, weight, caste.
It's very plastic.
It's very plastic and it is very unnatural, and this is why through these platforms, I would say, first of all, on these platforms only 30% people are genuinely serious and genuinely there, and those people who are 30% serious and they somehow 10% of them actually draw any advantage out of these portals and and out of these 10% people, 50% of the marriages fail because of lack of true compatibility.
Oh my god.
So if you look at it, the success rate of these portals and companies is extremely low. So marriage is in India and world across, nobody deliberately wants to marry many times.
Of course.
Everybody wants a life partner for lifetime.
Yeah, it's very taxing process.
It's a taxing process, and if you break a marriage, it's a very traumatic experience.
Of course.
So, marriage is something which you're looking forward to for lifetime. And at the same time, I believe that marriage is not for the sake of getting married. It is for improving your quality of life.
Right.
So if I'm not improving the person's quality of life, there's no purpose of matchmaking.
Right. So how can we judge that before getting married?
See, there is no quick fix solution.
True.
You will have to spend time with the person.
Okay.
You will have to understand his or her life from different quarters. You will have to increase your interactions with him or her and the family. And you will have to keep communicating, knowing, exploring that person. And your client with whom you are getting that person connected, that person also has to experience the vibes, the kind of also explore that are there common goals in life. Common values are very important. Common values and principles. If you're not on the same page in terms of values, then again, like if somebody is a chauvinist, and the woman believes in gender equality,
true,
you can well imagine
it's a mismatch.
You can well imagine what relationship they're going to have. The woman is going to struggle, this man will always have authority issue. And one thing I would like to tell you, that Let's Marry totally believes that if you're a single, you're a complete individual in yourself. There's nothing lacking in you if you're a single.
That's a very unique perspective, right?
Yeah.
Because people get married to complete their own self.
Not. We believe that you're a complete person, living a complete life. When two people are coming together, it is primarily to share a life together.
Yes, that's the thing. Yes.
It's a sharing, like it's you have a chocolate, you share it with somebody, you're happy about it.
Exactly.
But you have your own chocolate.
True.
Similarly, vice versa.
Yeah.
It's sharing a life together and walking the path of life together, enjoying every milestone.
That's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. So, ma'am, you have seen so many years in your life. So, how do you think human relationships have evolved in the last? Let's talk about like past 2 decades, because more than that would be like a bit old of a data. So, I think how have you seen relationships evolving in last 2 decades?
See, earlier the relationships, close relationships, were more of a drudgery.
Okay.
Yeah, because relatives, whether you like them, not like them, whether they are toxic to you, you had to maintain relationships.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
It was a protocol.
Right.
Now people are very selective about it.
True.
There are 2-3 parameters on which people maintain relationships. One is the utility. which I'm
Okay.
not saying that is a very good thing,
Okay.
but people see that what is your utility in their life.
Okay.
That is one way of selecting a relationship.
It's a very grey topic
I'm
to
again
say.
saying
Yeah.
that it's
Yeah.
not something very pleasant.
Yeah.
And
And neither it is like completely bad.
yes,
Because you look forward to having someone who
some
can add
relevance,
value. Exactly.
some relevance.
Right.
The second thing is emotional connect.
Yes.
So emotional connect also comes with another rider, that is this relationship giving me pleasure?
Okay.
So maybe you are well connected with one relative of yours, you may not be so connected with the other one because you don't find that person interesting enough, or
Exactly.
you don't vibe that with that person
Absolutely.
enough. So here now in these past 20 years, I feel that people are becoming more and more selective.
Okay.
That is one thing. And apart from that, I see that people are more individualistic in nature. So you know, earlier you had a legacy, okay, that aunt is mine, now it's
Right.
her son.
Yeah.
People now don't carry forward the relationships generation to
Right.
generation.
It's becoming more nuclear now.
Very nuclear and
Yeah.
individualistic.
Yes.
So that is also creating a lot of loneliness.
Exactly.
Because you're putting a lot of mind into
Hmm.
the areas of emotions.
Okay. Yeah, that's a very fresh take to talk about, right? Because every day we put so much of mind into our own emotions. We read about how to fix ourselves, how to fix our emotions, how to fix people around us.
Yeah.
But the only thing that we need to fix is our perspective. Like how are we
Absolutely.
looking at into the relationships?
Absolutely.
That's amazing. So, in last 2 decades or last 3 decades, technology has evolved a lot. So how do you think that has impacted the way in which we used to connect earlier? Of course, we have internet now, we have social media now. So that's a larger perspective of the whole situation. How do you think that has trickled down into our daily lives of
See,
connecting
it
to
is
people?
mechanical and it has created giga connects.
Okay.
I'm using this term, I've coined this term.
What does that mean?
Giga connects means connect with thousands and lakhs and millions of people.
Oh,
But then, is that the true connection for your soul, for your mind, and for your heart?
yeah,
Right? It doesn't connect people heart to heart.
true.
Right? It connects you mechanically.
Okay.
Right? You may know a lot of people, you may have million followers or friends,
Yeah.
and you may be well informed about what is happening worldwide.
Yeah.
But are you able to connect heart to heart with people? And that is the yearning of every individual.
True.
At the soul level, at the heart level.
Yes.
So that is not developing because these connects are creating a lot of distractions.
Okay.
It's much more than a human being can actually handle.
Right.
Right? So we need close connections.
Mhm.
Of course, I'm not doing away with the benefits. Like if you're connected on LinkedIn,
Yeah.
of course there will be a lot of business and professional connects if you
Yes.
leverage on them.
Right.
Right? But then you are also being dumped with a lot of unnecessary connections,
Yes.
which are time wasters
Mhm.
and which may not add value to your life. So
Yes.
it is in long run, whatever is happening on social media and different platforms where you're technologically connected to the other person, it is leaving more of a void, because when you
Yes.
see other people having vacations
Mhm.
or having high-end parties and
Yeah.
and you feel, oh, I am not good enough, my life is not good enough, you immediately start comparing your life with other people's
Right.
life. It leaves a vacuum, unnecessary vacuum.
Yes.
And it distracts you.
Hmm.
So somehow I feel that of course it has given you an advantage of connecting with people, but it is not actually helping building good relationships.
Wow, that's so enriching. So, ma'am, now that we are discussing in depth about this, let's just get bit into the science behind the whole process. So, happiness is all connected to the release of dopamine from the brain. So, that can be done through different sources, different ways. For example, it could be as mere as getting likes on the pictures on social media, or can go up to the fact that having like a stable career in our life. So, what do you think is the difference between all the sources of release of hormones in our brains, and what's the most sustainable and stable way of doing that?
Dopamine release can happen through many activities.
Okay.
Right now, one of them is increasing the likes, what you said. Right. Very honestly, what I believe, that is like an addiction.
Exactly,
To
it
me.
is.
Yeah. And the less you get into it, until unless you are getting some professional advantage out of it,
Okay.
then I do understand that is a part of your you know professional life, that you will
Yes.
it'll benefit you.
Right.
If you're like a celebrity, or
Of course.
so, or you are an influencer.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Then it makes sense. But if you do not draw any professional advantage out of it, I would say just be out of that rat race.
Yes.
Because
Absolutely.
that's just like an addiction, like giving an injection to yourself of some kind of a drug.
Right.
The real happiness comes through real connects, where
Okay.
somebody cares for you and you are able to give love to that person. And it's a long term relationship. We all look for stability in life, and this is a human tendency, though there is nothing called, it's an illusion actually.
Of course, it
Stability is
is.
an illusion.
Yes.
But that is what we aspire for. Right. So we are looking for some kind of stable relationships.
Yes.
So anything which is sporadic will not give you peace and happiness. So one is that you look for stable relationships. Secondly, focus on your own self. Self love is very, very important.
Yes,
in
exactly.
life. So you should read. You should, instead of being on social media, I would recommend you to pick up books, watch good movies,
Okay.
and sunshine,
Yeah.
good walks, exercise, good diet, some good friends, and spending time with your spouse, your family. And if you can do some charity work in your own community, that is going to be a far fulfilling kind of experience than being on the social media.
Okay, yeah, that's absolutely right. So, ma'am, marriage as an institution, what do you think that has a relevance in the present age? If you're talking about 2024, a lot of things have changed. People have seen pandemic in their lifespan. So, how do you think that has changed the way people have started looking towards the marriage as an institution? Do they think that they have a need of marriage more now than they have that before? Or do you think it's more or less the same? Is that people who want to get married, they are still wanting to get married? Some people are reluctant towards it. That's absolutely fine. So how do you think that has changed?
See, before pandemic,
Yeah.
people had this illusion that marriage is not necessary.
Okay.
And especially, I would say, people in their 20s and early 30s
Right.
had this notion that if you have a good career and you are earning very well,
That's enough.
That's enough.
Yeah.
And people are very open to sexual relationships before marriage.
Yes.
So even that part gets fulfilled.
Right.
So there was this very strong, I would say, parallel, wave of sentiments that marriage is losing its relevance.
Yes.
Right. But thanks to pandemic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because what I have noticed, and
Yeah.
it's a very close observation,
Yeah.
that people who were hospitalized or were, suffering from COVID at a very serious degree, the kind of commitment their spouses showed in bringing them out of that crisis.
Yeah.
No outsider will have that kind of commitment.
Right.
I mean, it's minuscule to find that kind of commitment, and families fought together. Of course, there were divorces also.
Yeah.
Being together, they were feeling claustrophobic also.
Right.
I mean, that was another part of the story.
It's like the weak fruits fall off
Yes,
easily. So
yes.
that way.
But the strength of being a couple came very forcefully, and how families have supported each other
Yes.
is tremendous. People have really fought tooth and nail for their spouses.
Of course they have.
And the kind of support they have got from their spouses is phenomenal. So, what I feel, And I have also observed that till the time you have your parents around you, people think that they don't need marriage.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
Yeah.
they are being pampered and they have a certain lifestyle,
Right.
which their family is giving, and there is a lot of emotional security also.
Yes.
The moment you lose one parent of yours, and generally it happens when people are in their 40s,
Yes.
and that is the time the panic attack starts.
Okay.
People start feeling that they might become orphan at the age of 50, and who's going to be there with them.
Right.
And that's the time they start looking for a partner.
Right.
And that's the time people, especially the girls, have already entered into a menopausal age, or
Yes.
their eggs are old and biologically it's not safe to reproduce. So, very honestly, it's not a complete family they can, go
Afford.
for.
Yes.
Yeah. And there are compromises.
Right.
Huh? And vulnerabilities are higher, not only in terms of, I would say, environmentally, emotionally also. Compatibility at that age, because flexibility is just getting less and less the more you grow old.
Right.
Your flexibility takes a toss. So what I believe is that people should understand to come out of their comfort level.
Okay.
To actually get into marriage, people are overtly obsessive about careers,
Okay.
professional growth, and they don't realize that they need to have a family of their own.
And what do we understand from this comfort level? Like,
Comfort level is living with parents.
Okay.
घर आते हैं, खाना मिल जाता है.
Right.
And they are not taking responsibilities enough. They are taking more responsibility of their career.
Okay.
But overall, they have no clue कि gas cylinder,
Yeah.
how it was refilled,
Right.
who paid the bill for electricity, or when the when a helper is coming,
Yeah.
the house cleaning, or maybe larger responsibilities of relatives,
Yeah.
friend circle. Major part of the responsibilities are shared by the parents.
Of course.
And they are being pampered like the way teenagers are being pampered. They want
Yes.
to continue with that comfort level.
Okay.
And in a married relationship, there is a very high amount of commitment which is required. True. And it's an ongoing commitment. True. It's not something which you would do today and you won't do it
Exactly.
tomorrow. Right. So
it multiplies.
It
Yeah.
grows, and you have to
Yeah,
be
yeah.
continuously committed.
Right.
So people are very afraid of that kind of a commitment
Yes.
because of their comfort level. That's what I
Exactly.
mean by that.
That's absolutely amazing, ma'am. So, searching, then sustaining a relationship, that looks like a very complicated process in itself. And with the kind of age that we are living in,
Yeah.
we don't have time. That's what everybody talks about, that we don't have time, even though we have the same 24 hours that we had before. But now we talk about not having time. So, how do you think a external agency or some external body would help making that convenient for a family as a whole to make two people meet first, and then making it stable for a longer duration?
See, an agency like mine,
Yes.
we do the hand holding of the clients. So
Okay.
we are walking a path. It's a first of all exploration of a life partner.
Okay.
Through the arranged way is a continuous process till the time you don't find it.
Okay.
Find the right one, right? So one, that you have to be continuously looking for the right person.
Right.
And for before we search, it's very important that we know the person, and that person also knows his or her expectations from a married life.
Okay.
So one, that we help that person to understand herself and himself.
Okay.
Our journey begins from there.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So it's more of a self-actualization journey, which
Okay.
from where we start. And from there we take it forward and start finding externally the right kind of people in the
Okay.
society who can gel with this person.
Okay.
And while the parents and the client is off and on busy with their own life,
Right.
we continuously support, and we
Okay.
bring to the table the profiles which they can focus on.
Okay.
Right? That's the first thing.
Okay.
And after that, once they find that they are comfortable with profiles, they want to explore, then we facilitate meetings and conversations, and we do the hand holding in terms they have queries, and till the time the ice is, they have to break the ice, and they get really comfortable with each other too, so that they carry forward their conversations and explorations, meetings and all. And we never advise our clients to hurry up in this manner.
Right.
We don't believe in quick fix solutions.
Yes.
You have to be doubly sure before you get committed.
Right.
And once you feel that you want to get committed, then we conduct certain assessment tests, certain psychological tests.
Okay.
And those, a few of them are even biometric tests,
Oh, wow.
which give you a complete analysis of your personality, the other person's personality.
Right.
We also talk about the expectations each one of you are going to have, and the unique circumstances from where you are coming.
Oh, wow. So it's like a self exploration, it starts from.
Yes.
Okay.
So that you are well informed about what you are getting into.
True. Absolutely true.
Right? Or what can you expect out of this marriage?
Yes.
Right?
That's what the basis of every
yes,
relationship.
Yes. Because we don't want people to commit without knowing.
Right.
Right? This is why we go through a lot of in-depth pre-marriage counselings.
Okay.
Yes. And the commitment level goes higher, the understanding of each other goes higher. We also help them to understand their love language. Yes. We also help them to understand that how they have to create a bond with each other's parents.
Right.
And
that's equally important.
Yeah. And we want to minimize frictions which we foresee post marriage.
Okay.
And create better harmony, better understanding as a team. We want the couple to realize that they are a team together. Right. So this is what we focus on, and we have got an entire process through which we take through. So if you look at the process or whatever, like I have shared with you, it's a complete journey which
it is.
We take them through. And last but not the least, we also facilitate post-marriage counseling. So just in case they want to vent out, they want to share certain experiences, or they are not too sure about certain feelings they want to express, they're more than welcome. And as a third party, and absolutely a neutral party, and a party who knows them very well in advance, we're able to give the right kind of advice.
Okay, wow. So ma'am, when we talk about our needs, we're talking about pre-marriage scenario.
Sure.
So when we talk about our needs, so there are two kinds of needs that we usually look into. One is like a stated need, and one is like a revealed need. So one thing is that I need a particular guy who has like XYZ qualities.
Correct.
Then there are some revealed needs that probably I need a guy who might not have that kind of a package altogether, but he needs to be emotionally understanding, or whatever the thing is.
Sure.
So have you faced that kind of a like a different scenario in your clients wherein they stated something else but they actually needed some other kind of a scenario?
It happens many a times.
Okay.
Because most of the people are looking at the expectations lopsided.
Okay.
They are too much focused either on a package, or looks, or a particular caste. So they have a myopic idea about their own needs. Right? So, and from a third party perspective, we are able to see the temperament of the person. We are able to see what kind of skill sets this person needs to develop, or what kind of a support this person will require in his or her career.
Absolutely.
Right. So if supposedly somebody, a woman has long working hours, right, she would certainly require a family or a boy who's more sensitive and can also take certain responsibilities at home and make her comfortable at home. So many things the people are not able to anticipate, where we help them.
Okay.
I'll give you an example that I was speaking to a father of a lady working in Bangalore. And we had a very detailed discussion, and by the end of it he mentioned that his younger daughter is autistic.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I said, hold on, this was the most important information for
Absolutely.
your
Yeah.
elder daughter's
Yeah.
marriage. He said, how come?
Mm-hmm.
I said, in times to come,
Hmm.
your daughter's husband will also have to support the girl.
Right.
Once
Right.
you're not there,
Yeah.
maybe 20 years later.
Yeah.
So I need a sensitive guy.
Oh, wow. So that's a revealed need.
Yes.
Yeah.
I need a sensitive guy who has empathy for your younger daughter.
And that makes a lot of difference.
Yes, I
Yeah.
cannot have a hardcore, ruthless corporate guy for your daughter.
Right.
Right? He has to be committed towards, having that sensitivity
Yes.
that she is a part of my family, and maybe at any point of time that
True.
responsibility would come on us.
Yes, and that would have changed the whole scenario.
Yes, and this is something which even they had not envisaged.
Absolutely.
They thought that till their daughter, their elder daughter, this remains as a responsibility, but they want a sensitive son-in-law. That requirement was not there even in their minds.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
So, ma'am, when we talk about Indian societies, so though we have reached at a point wherein we have become more nuclear in nature, but when it comes to decision making, it's somewhere still into the hands of the elderly people in our families.
Correct.
So, what's your take on that? Whether it's a right thing, a wrong thing, or it's a continuum of right and wrong, things lie in between. So, what's your take on like a family taking a decision about their kids' marriages?
See, if somebody is living in a joint family,
Mm-hmm.
then certainly that person will have to keep into account that the person who's coming into the family
Mm-hmm.
has to have certain values, lifestyle which is similar.
Okay.
Should not be, absolutely poles apart.
Okay.
Then there will be some struggle and friction. So
Right.
I think, having assimilating the expectations of the family are important in that case.
Okay.
But if you ask me personally,
Mm-hmm.
to me, that it should be a solitary decision.
Okay.
To my understanding, you should know yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and you should then look for a partner which suits you the most,
Okay.
temperamentally, and your life goals,
Okay.
your value systems, they should fit in.
Mm-hmm.
And most importantly, you should be having a passion and a zeal for that person.
Ah,
You should
right.
be having a fire to meet that person,
Yes.
looking forward to that person.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If you don't have that fire and you're marrying somebody very mechanically,
Right.
just because a certain
parental
checklist
pressure,
is there,
yeah.
and there are a lot of ticks
Yeah.
on that checklist, and you have no fire for that
True.
person, you don't have love for that person, then it would be a very mechanical relationship,
Okay.
and more of a compromise, and more, I would say, externally there is a checklist. But you
Yes.
need to connect soul to soul to have a soulmate, and one
Okay.
should aspire for a soulmate rather than a husband and wife.
Yes, ma'am. Then there comes a case wherein we get confused between a fling or like a short term fire and a long term slow burning fire.
Yeah.
So, what do you think are the main differentiating factors between an infatuation and a long term relationship, which
Your
in
value
turn.
systems.
Okay, okay.
Your value system.
Okay.
Because there may be a lot of people who do not believe in long term relationships. They may have infatuation and short lived fire for a lot of people.
Okay.
Right? But somebody who is committing for marriage, and somebody who is a sincere person intrinsically,
Okay.
that person will carry forward the relationship even if the fire goes up and down.
Okay.
Because the emotions do not remain as passionate always once you get married. So when you are facing a low phase with the partner,
Okay.
that time your responsibility comes handy.
Okay.
Right?
Ma'am, is this low phase different from a boring phase in a relationship?
You have boring phases, and those
Okay.
boring phases are very, very essential.
Okay.
A lot of things are being created for future while you are having boring phases.
Okay.
Because then that time you would be, rather than focusing on each other, you would be probably focusing on something really important in terms of your career or your fitness. So life is all about, it's like a big picture.
It's very random in general.
All the aspects of life are like jigsaw puzzle.
True.
So every puzzle has to fit in at the right place to get the complete picture. Right. So you cannot all the time be very entertaining with each other.
True.
So those dull moments are equally important moments. Right? So fun and entertainment in relationship, or passion in relationship, is an overrated thing.
And so is fun in general.
Yes. So pleasure is an overrated thing.
Okay. Can you talk a bit about that? Like, how is fun and pleasure is being overrated in this current age, wherein we associate fun with a different concept altogether, rather than that being a feeling in our consciousness.
Okay, let's talk about pre-marriage.
True.
Okay? The moment a girl and a boy start dating with each other, the girl has expectations that he's going to treat her like a queen all the time. He's going to give her expensive gifts, take her to expensive restaurants, take her to different entertaining places, events, and all that requires a lot of expense on the boy's part. Right? So the girl needs to be mature enough to understand that what level she should expect these things. Give that space to the boy to do things for her, and when he's not doing things for her, she should not be complaining or having that desire all the time.
Okay.
You should not be craving for these kind of things.
Okay.
Right? Materialistic things, experiences which are expensive.
Okay.
I'm not against these experiences and pleasurable times, but then not at the cost of somebody's pocket and discomfort. Supposedly somebody is not able to run the expenses for half of the month just because you've blown the so you have to be sensitive towards these things. So with pleasure comes responsibility.
True.
So that is from the perspective of a girl's expectation. Similarly, many boys look for sexual gratification before marriage. Right? And that can be both the
sides.
Both the sides.
And all the sides in current situation.
Yes. So there are repercussions. Chances are that you may break this relationship. It may not work. Or you may have some I would say pre-marriage pregnancies. Or it can lead to also some kind of sexually transmitted diseases.
So all the medical and psychological complications.
Absolutely. And more importantly, when you are committed to somebody at the sexual level, it's an exchange of energy. And that energy gets into your memory part.
Okay.
And that person becomes a very important part of your memory 5 years, 6 years down the line. So if you lose connect with that person, there is a lot of pain.
Even though we can think that we have gotten over it, or we have healed from the whole process, but psychologically we have not.
No, the person gets into your subconscious.
Okay.
Your soul and your subconscious level.
And how that impacts our future relationships?
Very badly.
Okay.
You really need to be, I would say, it's a very tough time.
Okay.
You cannot be fully committed to the other relationships in the coming times, because back of your mind that relationship keeps coming like a ghost. And it's very painful whether you share it or you don't share it.
And a lot of times we are not also aware of that thing, that something is taking a toll over our current relationship, and that has a roots in our past relationship. Sometimes we think that we have gotten over the whole process, but somewhere it still has that grip. So that's absolutely true.
So basically for that fun moment and that pleasure moment, you have to pay a price later on if it doesn't work.
Okay.
So, and it's traumatic. So that pleasure was for maybe for a year, you had sex with that person.
Yeah.
But then the repercussions, if that person goes away from your life,
Yeah.
may take another 5 years to heal.
Yeah, and maybe a lifetime at times.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, it can be.
Yeah.
So it's very important to get into a relationship of that kind
Right.
with somebody you're doubly sure,
Okay.
right? And it's a very sacred thing. No matter what you say, it
Yes.
gets into your subconscious.
Okay. So, ma'am, now can we talk a bit about like astrology?
Yeah.
So, though people have different opinions about that, some people who believe into it, some
Yeah.
people would not.
Yeah.
We have like God believers, we have atheists,
Yeah.
but then there are like a huge sect of people in India, if we talk about, who still believe into horoscope matching before marriage. Even at the time of dating, people like to
Yeah.
match their kundlis for just for fun, just for understanding. They talk about their astrological signs to understand how two people are compatible with each other.
Yeah.
So, how important do you think that part is?
See, what I believe is astrology to my mind is like an umbrella.
Okay.
So it is not going to change anything
Okay.
which is destined to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Only the thing is, the repercussions can be reduced by having an umbrella. The impact will be felt little less. So,
Okay.
to me, astrology is very important
Mm-hmm.
if you're going the arranged way,
Okay.
right? Because you need to be little well informed, and it is like a guiding map.
Okay.
You know, if there is a big no, don't venture into that.
Okay.
And you still want to venture, it's up to you. It's just like if the stones are falling,
Yeah.
you get into a shelter where they are falling, but you're not hurt.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
But they will fall.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So what I believe is that astrology is a guiding light.
Okay.
So whether you want to venture, it's just forecasting. It's
Okay.
like a weather forecast.
Yeah.
Now, if you still want to get into the sea, it's your call.
Right.
And if somebody is going by guidelines,
Yeah.
and wants to follow guidelines of astrology, then for that person it really helps.
Exactly.
So it depends on how adventurous you are.
Yeah, that's right. So it's just a probability. So it cannot be 100% true all the time.
You never know, because many a times the kundlis match so well and there are frictions in life.
Exactly.
And vice versa.
Yeah.
Sometimes kundlis are not matching and they have
Right.
a very beautiful life together. So there is no 100% guarantee that through horoscope matching, the life is going to be as predicted.
That's so interesting, ma'am. So I think let's get into some points, like so that our listeners should have like a checklist in their hands
Sure.
when they are listening to this podcast.
Yeah.
So are there some important pillars of marriage in order to ensure that our future is somewhat safe, because we cannot predict the future 100%, but still we can take some calculated risks.
Yeah.
So what do you think are the pillars of a happy marriage, for that matter?
One is a very open communication between the couples.
Okay.
That's very important.
Okay.
They should have common values and principles.
Okay.
And certain things should be pre-decided, like how they are going to resolve their issues whenever there is a conflict.
Okay.
They are going to prioritize each other, their bucket list.
Okay.
So that they are able to fulfill their life goals.
True.
Together.
Yeah.
So it should be spelled out much in advance that what they want to do together.
Right.
And how they are going to support each other's career and profession.
Okay.
So, and I think certain standards of conduct should be pre-decided. Like anger management.
Okay.
What kind of words are they going to use? They, never ever they're going to use abusive words towards
it's like a red flag.
Red flag.
Yeah.
And at the same time, how are they going to, what tone are they going to speak? Because more than the words, the tone gets more offensive.
True.
Whenever there is a, disagreement
conflict,
and a conflict. So certain standards, I think, and the most important thing, more than love, I feel, is mutual respect.
Absolutely true.
Mutual respect will take care of everything.
Yeah. And that's true for every relationship,
Yes.
for that matter.
Yes.
Not only for the love relationships,
Yes.
or like husband and wife relationship. Respect is the key thing for any relationship,
Yeah.
for that
So
matter.
good communication,
Yes.
having common principles and values, and
Right.
mutual respect
Okay.
is, I think these three things are most important.
And ma'am, when we talk about people changing with time, people
Yeah.
evolve with time,
Yeah.
people endorse a lot of new qualities with
Correct.
the kind of trajectory they have in their
Correct.
lives.
Correct.
So, how do you think we need to make a roadmap of the kind of extent that the other person is allowed to dwell from the originally formed script
Yeah.
when they met in the earlier, like initial stages in their
See,
in their
if they have
relationship?
different careers,
Yeah.
they are bound to go little different than their
Okay.
partners, right?
Yeah.
What will keep them together is the pre-decided goals,
Okay.
which the milestones they have set for each other.
Yeah.
Supposedly, both want to travel to Himalayas
Yeah.
in next 3 years.
Yeah.
They plan a baby together in next
True.
4 years.
True.
Just giving you example.
Yes.
Or they want to experience bungee jumping or
Yeah.
scuba diving,
Yeah.
or or want to explore certain areas.
Yeah. Like a world tour, maybe.
World tour or Europe or whatever. They may have certain milestones.
True.
Right. So those, if they are going to work together towards those goals, then they are going to maybe they have fitness goals.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're going to swim together, cycle
Right.
together, exercise together, or have similar diets.
Yeah.
So these are the kind of things which will put them together, but their careers
Yeah.
and their individual interest
Yeah.
will always allow them to have their own life at the same time. Parallel.
Okay. Yeah.
Supposedly, the husband is very passionate about soccer,
Right.
and the wife is not even interested in soccer.
Yeah.
Of course, that person is going to play soccer. If the
Exactly.
wife is very fond of writing and
Right.
she's a good writer or a blogger,
Yeah.
she may continue with her. So
True.
I don't think so. They, if you have common goals, they are going to coincide with your individual personality and interests.
Okay. That's amazing. So, ma'am, thank you so much. It was lovely having you here.
Thank
Do you want to say anything to the listeners?
I would just say that a lot of young people are scared of marriage. Please do not be scared
Yeah.
of marriage. Just take time and find the right one.